All right, guys, let me share my screen. So in the previous day, we are discussing about denormalizations and normalizations concept, right? If you remember.
Yes.
Right. Let's continue the same concept. Whatever I said on that day, in the previous day, that is denormalized in the sense, you understood that when we store all the related data in one single table, one large table, that is called as denormalized data, right? As we saw here, just a second. I think you can see my screen. This data, we discussed about this data and whenever we are discussing about the limitations of Excel, right? Something like that. If we store all the data together, okay, all the related data in one single table, that is called as a denormalized data. And what is the disadvantages by storing the data like that we saw? And whenever if we have denormalized data, we will face some anomalies. Anomalies in the sense it's nothing but problems. Those are insertion anomaly, deletion anomaly, and updation anomaly. We saw that on the previous day, we try to understand what is that anomalies, right? If we talk about if we have any advantage on denormalized data, we have only one advantage, that is accessing of the data is easy. That means no need of using joins, unions, without using all these concepts also. We can access the data easily because basically all the data will, all the data will be stored in one single table only. No, then what's the need of using joins directly? If we have data like this, we can just simply fetch the data whatever we want by giving some conditions. Okay, that is okay. Okay, we have an advantage for the denormalized data. But when comparing with the advantage, whatever disadvantages we have, that is very huge. If we are unable to insert data properly, delete data properly, update data properly, then we cannot maintain the database correctly. That's the reason normalization came into existence. Normalization is nothing but if we divide the data into smaller tables, how we saw on that day, on the same example, somehow we just divided this data into customer details, product details, supplier details, something like this, right? And I said we have some common columns between them, and this is how we will save the data in the what we call databases or SQL also. How we are dealing with the data so far. As you saw many databases, as you saw Maven Movies database, we have multiple tables in it, right? And we have some common column between them like that. This data, whatever we are working now, that is movies data or whatever data we will work in the real time, that will be, normalized data only. Okay. Up to here, is that clear for everyone?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay, no, now what we need to learn today in the sense we have something called as normal forms. Again, this is, I can say this as an important topic only. Please try to listen carefully what is normal forms, okay? Because, whatever we discussed till yesterday, that is a basic understanding of what is denormalization, what is denormalized data, what are all the problems we face in denormalization, and what is normalization. Now we have a concept called as normal forms. Okay, we have many normal forms. I will explain each one of it very detailedly. Please try to understand carefully. If you didn't understand, please stop me and ask me at that time, because this is I can say to repeat the whole normal forms concept is a little bit a difficult task. So please try to listen carefully, and if you have any doubts, just ask me then and there. Okay, and on that day, whatever I said, that denormalized, normalization, denormalization, all those terms you understood. And that I can say, something like a theory part only. This normal forms, you should definitely being a developers, we should understand everything about the normal forms. Let's discuss. I'm explaining all about the normal forms. I really cannot repeat the whole concept once again. Please try to listen. No, okay, carefully. So next we have something called as normal forms. Okay. Till now, what we saw, we have if we have some denormalized data, what is that denormalized data we saw, right? Something like, if we store all this data together, this is basically called as a denormalized data. Now, what is normal forms in the sense? There is something called as, if we have data like this, if we have some denormalized data, we need to follow some normal forms. There are some normal forms. We need to follow that steps. By following that steps only, in real time, we can convert the denormalized data form into the normalized form. Again, let me give you one clarity. See, if we, as we are, learning SQL subject, right? If you are a, if you become a SQL developer, we don't do this. We don't convert the denormalized data into normalized form. Basically, we will get the databases just like movies database as you shown. We have all the tables and we will start working with the SQL concepts. Again, in some companies, depending upon the projects, not for the SQL developers, mainly if I talk about some other roles, if I talk about especially data science field, data engineers, I said previously, whenever we are discussing about the job roles, I said that data engineers, what they will do, they will clean the data, right? First step, they will get some, the data engineers will get some raw data. They will perform some steps to clean the data. And once the data is cleaned, that data will be sent to the data analyst and they will start analyzing the data. Correct? This is what you understood, right? Being the SQL developers also, you will get the clean data only. But if in any of your project, if you come across with any kind of denormalized data, you should be in a position to understand how to convert them into the normalized form. Again, that is a 0% chance for SQL developers. We won't do that. But in these, I mean, data engineers role and some other roles, if most of the people won't stick to only SQL developers, right? Going forward, if you are, going to another job in another domains, if you had to clean the data, you should understand about this normal forms. Okay. So So as we know, as we understand what is normalization, right? That means if we divide the big table or if we divide the denormalized data into smaller tables, we will call it as normalization, right? So now let's understand the different levels of normalization. So far we understood about the normalization. So we have some levels of normalizations. Okay. We have some levels of normalizations, different levels of normalizations. Suppose if we have any denormalized set and if we want to normalize that data, we need to follow certain rules. Okay. We need to follow certain rules in order to organize that data. Let me repeat. If we have any denormalized data, for any denormalized data, if we want to convert it to normalized form, we need to follow certain rules basically. Okay, we have certain rules. We need to follow certain rules to convert denormalized data into normalization form. That is denormalized to normalized. Okay, we need to follow some rules over there. So we have that rules. What is happening? We have different levels of normalizations. Okay. As I said, we have different levels of normalizations, and in each level we have rules. Okay, that each in each level of the normalization we will have to follow some particular rules. That level of normalization, basically this level of
Divya, some
normalization.
echo is coming. It's only for me or for everyone. Please do check, no? From your side.
Oh,
Yeah, ma'am, your voice is not clear. It's sounding like you are talking from very far.
Okay, just give me a second. Let me keep my headphones. Hello, am I clear now?
Yes, Divya.
Yeah, sorry guys. So let's continue. As I'm saying, if we have denormalized data and if we want to convert the denormalized data into normalized form, we have some levels of normalization. We need to perform some levels of normalization techniques. Okay, and each one in each level we need to follow some certain rules. That levels of normalization is also called as normal forms. Okay. So basically, we have some normal forms. We need to perform all those normal forms to convert denormalized data into normalized form. Okay, now let's understand what are all the normal forms we have and what is, I mean, each form, each normal form, what are all the rules we have and how to convert basically denormalized data into normalized form. Okay, so as I said, the level of this levels of normalization is also called as normal forms. That means if once we get the denormalized data, first we will perform first level of normalization. Okay, that is called as 1NF. In the same way, we will follow some levels of normalization. So basically, we have many normal forms. Like as I said, for 1NF, we have 2NF, we have 3NF. Like that, we have something called as BCNF, 4NF, and 5NF. Something like this. We have this many normal forms: 1NF, 2NF, 3NF. NF in the sense normal forms, 1NF in the sense first level of normalization. That means the first level, once we get the denormalized data, whatever first level of technique we will use, that is called as first level of normalization. We can also call it as 1NF. Likewise, we have 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, BCNF, 4NF, and 5NF. But from here we never use in the industry. 1NF, 2NF, and 3NF, up to here only we will use. If we can able to perform these three normal forms, our denormalized data will be converted into the normalized form. Okay, now let's see that practically. So whatever I said, is that clear for you?
Yes, Divya.
Okay, now let's see what is this NFs and how we will basically convert denormalized data into the normalized kind of data. Okay, so as I said, in each of these normal forms, we will have some rules. Okay. Basically, if our data satisfies all that rules, then we can say that that particular data set is in that particular normal form. Okay. Let's see. First, let me write about, as I said, we have this many forms, but we in real time we use up to 3 normal forms only. And guys, whatever I'm writing here, I'm just writing here for your understanding purpose only, but I don't really upload this file. I will upload already saved proper, you know, notes here, because as this is of almost theory part only, I will upload another file for you. Okay, if I miss, so don't worry about it. Whatever file I will upload on this concept, that will be completely theoretical, and I will upload in such a way that by reading you can understand the concept once again clearly. Okay, so we have this many normal forms, but usually if we perform these 3 normal forms only, it will be enough. So now let's see about first normal form. Okay, first normal form. In first normal form, if any denormalized data, okay, that denormalized data should convert into first normal form, in the sense we need some, we have some certain rules in it. As I said, we need to Any denormalized data, if we want to convert it into normalized form, we need to follow certain rules, etc. So for each and every normal form, we will have some rules. In the same way, in 1NF, that is first normal form also, we have some rules. What is that rules in the sense? First rule, every column must have one single value. Okay, this is our first rule. And second rule is that each row must be unique. I will show everything practically. Please wait. Each row must be unique. Okay. And the second rule is that each row must be unique. And each column must have one single value. Each row must be unique and not mandate to have a primary key. See, this is the two rules which we have in 1NF. In first normal form, we have two rules, and these are all the two rules. I mean, this is then the first rule is every column must have one single value, and the second rule is each row must be unique and not mandate to have primary key. Now let's see. Now let's see practically if we have some denormalized data, how we will convert that denormalized data into the first normal form. When it will convert if it satisfies these two rules, right? Let's see that practically. Just give me a minute.
Divya.
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah. Can you said that there are two rules for 1NF, right? Okay.
Yes,
Can you please just list out in the Excel sheet how it should
yes,
be
yes. I'll do that. I'll do that.
instead of
Just give me a
just
minute.
enter it?
Just give me
Okay.
a minute. Just a second, guys. Give me a minute. All right. See, I hope you can able to see my Excel file, right? This is the same data which we discussed previously whenever we are talking about the limitations of Excel, right? Now, let me just open another sheet and let me write some data here to make you understand only about 1NF. Okay. So here I'm saying, I'm just trying to, I hope you can see my screen. I'm talking about 1NF. Is this visible? Okay,
Yes.
I'm talking
Yes.
about 1NF. So in 1NF, I said we have two rules. First rule is that every column must have one single value, right? I'm just copying this instead of writing each and every time. Okay, so and the second rule is that each row must be unique and not mandate to have a primary key. Now we should understand that if we have any data, how how to make that data satisfy these two rules. Okay, before that, before I just I have some large data set, but before explaining on that large data set, let me take a simple sample table example here to make you understand about 1NF. Okay, so suppose if I have some students table, let's say I have some student ID, student name, and maybe course details. Okay, so if I have some student IDs to name and course as my columns, and I have some random data here. Let me enter some data here. See, suppose if I have some data like this, if I have one table like this is my student ID, this is my student name, and this is the course that student is taking. Okay, I have SID, name normally. But in course, you can observe that Priya is taking two courses. She's taking Excel and Tableau. Like that, Ram is taking some two courses, and another student is taking three courses. Here you can see how my data is, in the sense, this data in this column particularly, it is divided, it is separated by a comma. My data, I have multiple values in it. My multiple values is separated by a comma, right? If you remember what I said, let's talk about, complete data engineer's role. I said data engineer, what he will do, he will get some raw data and he need to clean the data, right? He need to perform some clean steps. Basically, I said previously that the data can be, the raw data, what that any of the, suppose SQL developer, mostly not for SQL developer, let's talk about data engineers only. For that person, if we get that data, data can be like in any form, even in the text file, normal PDF files or normal text files or Excel files, he can get that data in any of that files. And some files, maybe he can able to see all the data just separated with commas. So he will perform basically some clean steps, and he will separate that data. Okay, basically that kind of data we can also call it as a denormalized data. Whatever data we saw previously, this is called as denormalized data, because we have multiple columns here, and all the related columns, we are keeping all the columns in one big table, right? In the same way, in this table, in the same way, if I don't have all the values together, if I have some multiple values also, suppose here instead of smartphone, if I have smartphone comma TV, like this, suppose if I have, we can have, not only we are having multiple data, all the columns in one large table, there will be, multiple values also in in some of the columns. Like, here I have a smartphone and TV in this column, correct? So all this kind of data is called as denormalized data. Here what I did, I just shown you three simple columns. Here in my course column, I am having multiple course names, but it is separating with a comma. Basically in SQL, whatever we performed, whatever we saw, we are not supposed to have this kind of data, right? We should have only one values over there, right? We solved many tables. In any table, you didn't saw this kind of data so far, right? So if we have data like this is I mean, if we have any denormalized data, this kind of data, we will have all the columns together in one large table, or in some columns we will have like this multiple values. Then that data is called as a denormalized data. For example, this small table
here that is small, just for your understanding purpose I made it small, but basically it won't be this small. I'm just to make you understand about this particular column, I'm using this small data. Okay, just imagine this as our denormalized data. Okay, now let's first step we need to deal with this column. And as I'm saying, whenever we saw the denormalized data, we need to perform 1NF. Okay, we need to perform 1NF on that denormalized data. And the rules in this 1NF is every column must have one single value. Okay, so you can see here we are having multiple values. Now, first we need to remove this multiple values. So, to to satisfy this first rule, I need to convert this data into two forms. First, I'm just copying this S name and C name. I mean S name, SID and S name. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry.
Divya, one
So
request.
yes, please.
Can you talk little bit slower?
Oh,
Because
is it becoming
it's
loud for you?
not loud, very fast.
Okay, you want me to explain slowly.
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. So I'm saying now I have course column like this and my data in it is separated with a comma. But basically it should not be, we should not have such data in the SQL, right? Whatever we saw, like we already deal with Maven movies table, we saw many tables, we have many columns. In any of the column, we don't have like this of multiple values, correct? So if we have any of the denormalized data, we need to perform 1NF on this data and we need to convert by, I mean, by following some steps. We need to, in 1NF, we have these two rules. We need to follow some steps and we need to make this data to into the, we need to convert this data into the 1NF data. That means we need to follow these two rules. The first rule is that every column must have one single value. In SID column, I'm having single values only. S name also I'm having single values only. In course table, I mean course column only, we're having multiple values. But to make this table satisfy 1NF, I need to work on this course column now. That's what I'm doing. Basically, what I'll do, I will split the data into uh, I need to split this one column data. There are again two ways. Let me just write it and after that I will tell you. See, I'm saying the first rule is every column must have one single value. In this column, I'm having multiple values. To make this table, to make this data satisfy the first rule, I need to split the data. So here, what I did, I splitted the data into the columns part, in the column level. That means this data, I just split it into different columns. In course 1, I took one value. In course 2, I took another value. In course 3, I took another value. Did you got my point? This Excel and Tableau are divided into separate columns. This one also separate columns. This one also separate columns. But if we follow this process, what happens if any student, suppose if any student, I have another student and if he did 5 courses, I need to use 5 columns like course 1, course 2, course 3, course 4, course 5. And for remaining students, if any student did only one course, all these columns will be null values, right? Correct?
Yes, Divya.
So we should not, basically, if we save the data like this also, it is accepting, it is following the first rule. The first rule is satisfying, but this is not the correct way, this is not the correct approach, because if we have multiple values like 5 6 values, we cannot keep on adding the columns, right? Basically, if you can see, this is a small data. For your understanding purpose, I used only 3 columns. But denormalized data, in the sense, basically First of all, we will have multiple values in it. At least we will have 10 columns in it. If we keep on adding columns like this, it will become very large, right? So we should not follow this method. This method is nothing but I'm just splitting. I'm using splitting concept here, splitting by column, correct? I just tried to split my values on the basis of columns, but this is wrong. Instead of that, what I can do here, I need to split the values in rows, that is in row level. Okay, this is the method we should follow. Okay, so for that, what I will do, this is one, I have Priya, I have Excel. Okay, now again what I need to do, we have Tableau. If you can observe what I'm trying to do, I'm just splitting it towards the in the rows, right? Guys, you can understand. If you cannot understand now, don't worry. Once keep on listening, you will understand. Okay. Now what I did here, basically this data, I splitted this complete table into the rows level, right? Here what's happening, I have for Priya, I have two courses. So I just splitted the table. I just splitted this row into two parts. One, Priya, I got Excel here because Priya is she's taking Excel course and she's taking Tableau course also. So I splitted Priya details into two rows. In the same way, I splitted Ram details into two rows. I splitted Sita details into three rows. Okay. Instead of splitting by column, I need to split by rows. Okay, because if I basically what my first rule is, every column must have one single value, correct? Every column must have one single value. In this course column, I am having two values, right? Excel and Tableau. This is wrong. I'm not supposed to have this multiple values like this. My first rule, the very first rule is that every column I should have only one single value. To satisfy that role, what I am doing, there are two ways. I can even split that data by column. If I split the data by column, I will get like this. Like I need to split it by column wise. Course 1, I need to keep first values. In course 2, I need to keep second values, like that. If I have 3 4 5 values, I need to keep on adding new columns here. But again, as I said, if I have 4 here, I have some three. First, just for understanding, I'm just giving subject names as A, B, C, D, E. Okay. Suppose these are the 5 course names. Raj is taking course A, course B, C, D, and E. In that case, here what I need to do, I need to add 5 course names here. Course 1, course 2, course 3, course 4, course 5. And here I need to keep A, B, C, D, E. Right? If I am dividing this table in the column level, I need to do like this. Here Raj is taking 5 courses, so I kept one value in one column. But if suppose as Priya is taking only 2 courses here, all the 3 columns I should definitely it will be filled by null values. If keep on if we only adding this much of null values in our data, it won't really make any sense, right? That is the reason we don't use this splitting by column concept. Okay, if we use this also, it is satisfying my first rule, but this is not the best way of storing the data, so we don't use this method. Next method is split the values in row level. What I am doing here, have one row called as Priya. This Priya is taking 2 courses, so I just splitted the details of Priya into 2 rows, right? I splitted the Ram details into 2 rows. If Raj is taking 5 subjects, I will just split the Raj details into 5 rows. Okay. Later we will follow one more step to remove these duplicates. Don't worry for now. But to just satisfy the first rule over here, we are splitting the data into the row level. Okay. If you really observe this data, just let's remove this one. If you observe this data, is it satisfying the first rule? Every column must have one single value. In every column I'm having single values only, right? Guys, is it understandable for you?
Yes, Divya.
Everyone. Okay, so basically first I have this kind of data. I splitted that into the row level, and this data is satisfying my first rule. Every column must have one single value. Okay, first rule is done. We have one more rule here. So that rule is each row must be unique. If you observe each row here they are saying row, not the column. Here column is not unique. We are having duplicates here, but they are saying each row must be unique. If we see row level, the data is unique only. To Ram tableau, I mean no data is repeating in the particular row, right? In row level, if we observe, data is unique only, right? Am I clear?
Yes, Divya.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Next, I am saying not mandate to have a primary key. Okay, in the second rule itself, we are saying it's not mandatory to have a primary key. If we have a primary key, that is fine, but it is not compulsory. Here, if you can see, I cannot have in such data, I cannot have a primary key, because what is primary key? You all know that. If we have primary key, we should not have duplicate values or null values, right? Here, basically for SID, we will keep the primary key, but here I cannot keep this SID as the primary key because I have some duplicate values here, right? So this rule is also satisfying. Basically, if this is my denormalized data, if I splitted the values in the row level, my data became like this, and this data is satisfying these 2 rules, right? First rule and second rule is done. So I can say this is, first of all, this is my denormalized data. Okay, this is my denormalized data. I performed some operation here, that is splitting the values in row level. By performing something, I made the data, you know, I created a data in such a way that it is accepting, it is basically following these 2 rules, right? So I can say now this data is in 1NF, right? Clear?
Yes, Divya.
So I thought you will ask one question here, but no one is asking for me. Is there any questions?
Ma'am, I still don't understand why, I mean, what is the use of this concept?
Uh, as I said, sometimes we will get denormalized data. For SQL developers, maybe we don't get, but again, as we are learning SQL, we need to learn this concept, because suppose in your team you are working as a, maybe SQL developer or maybe data engineer. Anyway, suppose there is, if you are working in any company and there are no one in your company, in your project, there is no data engineer, and if your project manager is given you one raw file in that data is present, and you need to create a database on that data, then what you will do? You need to follow some steps. Basically that data will be in the denormalized form. After following some steps only, your data, that denormalized data, will be converted into the normalized form. Then only you will start creating the database. That is the reason I'm explaining this concept. Mostly it won't happen, 99-95% it won't happen for SQL developers, but suppose if we can come across such situations, we should be in a stage to understand how to convert denormalized data into the normalized form. Okay, and especially for data engineers, if anyone is planning for data analytics or data engineers, or not only data engineers, in some full stack roles or some other roles also, if needed, they need to convert denormalized data into the normalization form. That's why I'm explaining this. Okay, if you, all of you, whoever is there in this batch, if you really think you are not going to any other domains, you want only SQL developer content, I'll skip this. No problem. It's up to
No,
you.
no, no, please teach.
No, no, I'm not saying like that, because you should not confuse totally. That's the reason I'm saying. If it is confusable for you, just I will explain. Just try to understand whatever points you can get it. Okay, if you don't understand, also you can ignore that. But try to understand. Okay.
Yeah,
But
but Divya,
normally,
Mhm. Yes, please.
here, for example, we got lakhs of data, like one column have multiple values. So how to convert like this?
Exactly.
That type of.
About I am waiting for this question only. I
Okay.
said just now that I am expecting one question from you, right? See, here I used only 3 columns. That's the reason I simply return all those things. But if we have, generally in real time, we will have thousands of data. So how to basically perform this step, in the sense, not using Excel file, mostly not using Excel file. If we started using Excel file, I have one more file here. Let me show you.
And ma'am, always we need to do it in Excel or like any query also need to write
No need of here. I
with the
mean,
column.
whenever we are creating, we are converting denormalized to normalized, no queries are involved. I'm about to say, 1 second. Let me show you my sample data first. See, this is the data. This is the data set which I have. This is basically denormalized data. I have many columns here. Okay. If you can see at the bottom, I have many rows. Like maybe 2008-24 rows I have here. I really cannot keep on, searching for each and every value here, and I keep on. I can't really understand where I have multiple values in this data, and I cannot write it manually, right? If we are using Excel, what we will do, for example, mostly we don't use Excel for this, but again, if we are using Excel, where is this? Suppose this is the thing. If I understand that I have multiple values here, I'll just simply copy this. I will paste it, and I will try to. I'll just copy this, and I will paste it, and I will try to edit it directly. Like, I will just keep on editing like this. I mean, directly we will copy and we will edit. But it's really hard to understand in which data we have this multiple values. So mostly in real time, we don't use Excel files also. So what happens is, as I am saying, I didn't really belongs to any, Java or full stack in that domains. Which tool they will use, I really don't know. If I talk about data science, we have some tools. If anyone is from Power BI, in Power BI itself we have Power Query. In that Power Query, we will just open this Excel file. Whatever Excel file I just showed you, we will open the Excel file, and we have some concepts called as, we can split the data there. Okay, we can split, we have some functionalities over there. By using that functionality, we will just give, we need to split the data, and we need to use the delimiter as comma, because most of the times our data will be separated by comma only, right? So just by following one or two steps, all the data will be cleaned and it will be converted into the normal form. Like, like this I will get. Okay. Same, in the same way, in Tableau also we have something called as Tableau prep. We will follow the same process. I will just connect to the Excel file. I have something called as delimiters, splitting functionality over there also. If I use that split, and if I give the delimiter as comma, all my data will get like this. So basically, in every organization, there will be some tool. By using that tool only, we will convert the data, not in Excel file. If in Excel file, if we had to do, if we have very less data in Excel file, we will do it manually, but not really. Okay.
Divya,
Am I
but
clear?
in real time, normally data engineers do this work, right?
Mostly data engineers do, but sometimes if we our fate is really bad, if we are working in any organization where we are not in that organization, if data science is not there, okay, we are working in core PL SQL developer role, mostly we don't had to 99%. However, I showed you that movies database, like that only we will get the database. Again, according to our client, of course we will get the database only, but sometimes if that client wanted to add some new data, if we gave some random text file, maybe we have hundreds of, we don't have really likes of data over there, if that client wanted to add some new data, he may give that files and we need to follow this process like that. But
But
most
how they do data engineers or data analyst? I mean, they use Power BI or Tableau, or how they do it?
Yes, it depends. If you are a Power BI analyst, you will use Power Query. If you are a Tableau analyst, you will use Tableau Prep. Like that, we have many, ETL tools. As I said, ETL tools. By using ETL tools, we will clean this data. I said no, the same
And what
process.
about SQL developer? How will they do it?
Mostly, I'm saying SQL developers, they won't do this. They will get the, perfect data only. They will get the database how I given you movies database, like that only. 99% we will get the database, we won't work on this. But sometimes if we get any data in that particular database, if I'm working in one project, I got, suppose let's talk about movies database only. I'm working for Netflix, I'm working from 2 years. Suddenly they given me one list of some new movies and new things. I need to add that data definitely in the existing tables and existing databases, right? So at that time, at least I should have some knowledge how to convert that raw data into, this at least understandable manner, so that I can start creating the tables, right? It happens. If you are continuously working in any project, if sometimes, again, it completely depends on the project only. If required, if our client sent us any raw data, we only, being SQL developers only, we need to convert that data into at least understandable manner, at least something like this. If we can able to understand it in the Excel file, we will start manually creating tables by using create syntaxes, right? Like that.
Maybe I have one question.
Yes,
You
please.
have told for 1F every column and that every row, that two conditions. Either
Yes.
one condition can be satisfied
No,
or both.
two conditions should satisfy. Then only we will convert the denormalized test into 1NF. In the same way, we have 2NF and 3NF. If we, for this data, now what I did for this denormalized data, I followed these two rules and I got this kind of data. This is 1NF. In the same way, we have some rules in 2NF and 3NF. If we follow that rules, we will get a perfect data where, see, like this. Where is that? This kind of data. How I shown you in Excel file that we will divide the data into separate tables, and this is how we will create it in the databases, right? In that way, end of the day, our output will be like this. But how to do this here manually? We are just, what I did, I just manually written some 10 rows and I just copied and pasted randomly to make you understand. But in real time, we cannot do like that, right? We need to follow some steps and we need to follow each and every rule, and at the end, the last product, the last output will be like this. We will create some tables separately, and on that tables we can start creating a database like that. So basically, as how we did 1NF, we need to perform 2NF and 3NF. Then any kind of denormalized data, it will be converted into the normalized form. That data is, that will be ready to create the database. On that data, we can start creating the database. I mean, database or tables like that.
Okay. For as you now you have explained 1NF.
1NF only. I need to explain 2NF and 3NF. Then only you can relate. Okay, how we converted some, denormalized raw data into the perfect. How we got some perfect structured. How we converted into normalized form, and that tables only we will, being a developers, we will start creating the tables.
We have to select any one of the NF concept,
No, no,
or
no,
like
no, no, no. All three NFs. That denormalized data should satisfy 1NF, 2NF, 3NF. Then only it will become normalized data.
Okay, then
I need
all
to
should
finish
be
that
like
concepts. If I
okay.
explain 2NF and 3NF, you don't, you will be clear. You won't get such doubts.
Okay.
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 And Yogi, as you asked, we don't really do everything manually. As I said, we have some tools. If you can see my screen, I will quickly show you Tableau Prep. For now, I'm having only, I of course I have Power BI also, but let me show you Tableau Prep.
Yeah, can you please use Power BI?
Power BI. Okay, okay. I just opened Tableau Prep for now. We are almost done with the time also. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm unable to see this. I mean, I opened your participants window so that because of that, I didn't saw that error which I got. See, whatever it is, how many columns we have also, we can simply by using any of the tools, we can simply convert that data into this kind. Whatever you saw here, we can just split that data into normal forms. After that, we will use 2NF and 3NF and our data base data will be ready. Okay, and tomorrow, just for understanding, make you understand 1NF, I used this simple data. Whatever a data I shown you just now, that big data, thousands of rows of data, on that data only tomorrow I will show you, maybe tomorrow I will show you 2NF and 3NF. I won't use all the rows. I will take some rows, but I will use all those columns. See, I opened my Tableau prep. Okay, if you want, I will show you Power BI also later. So I will just, I have, this is basically Tableau prep. We need to connect to data here. See, we again here also, here we have many files. We can connect to any file. Now I'm connecting to Excel file. Mm. Okay, I got same data, right? If you can see some Excel, Python, SQL, Power BI. See here, what is happening? I just connected to one Excel file. I have the same data which I have shown you previously. I have 3 columns, and here in course column, we have data separated with comma. Like that, if we have, multiple rows also, large data also, basically we will have this, we can find this comma separated data, right? We need to perform some clean steps here. This is my sheet one which I have just created. Okay, I need to click on plus here. We will perform some clean steps. Okay, here my data got separated into the, you know column level. How many columns we have also, at least we can able to see here like this. So basically in this third column I have some data separated by commas, right? Simply I have some options here, more options. I will click that, and I have option called as split values. In the same way, Power BI also same. If you want, I can show you later. Power BI also, once we connect the data, we can able to see this all kind of Excel files over there. We have same split values or split function over there. We need to click that. We have something called as automatic split and custom split. We can just click it as we want, and here it will ask us to use the separator. Here comma is the separator, right? That is, comma is dividing our words, correct? So I need to use comma here. I given comma, use the separator, I mean use comma as a separator, split off. It is asking me, do you want first row, first column, like that? Okay, I'm just using split for you. You can see here I got all my first values here. If you can see here, this is my split one. The data will be splitted actually. If you can see in my first data here I have first value as Excel. It given like this, SQL, it given like this, here Excel, it given like this. Like this, we will split the data. Okay. For now, I really cannot explain the whole concept about this Tableau prep and all, how we will split the course level, row level, like that. We will have some of the, we need to follow some steps, but basically by using this, we can split the data. Okay. No need of literally, you know, typing everything. By following some tools, we will split the data. Okay. Maybe into the column level or row level, like that. Mostly, as I said, 99% SQL developers won't face this kind of issues, but we need to understand the basic concept about 1NF, 2NF, and 3NF. In most of the courses of SQL developer, they won't include this concept also, but in some courses you can able to see this concept, but some courses, in some institutes, they won't include. But you should have at least some basic idea whether you work on it or not. Once you listen these concepts, at least you can understand what is happening. Okay, that's the reason I'm explaining. For now, in this denormalized data, this concept will be interesting only. Just try to listen 2NF and 3NF also, then you can understand. Okay, 1NF is that I said we have two rules, and we need to if we need to create in such a way that this data should follow these two rules. To do that, I just, every column must have one single value. So I just splitted the data into the row levels, and I got some data like this. And as this data is satisfying these two rules, I can say this data is in 1NF, one first normalized form. In the same way, we have 2NF and 3NF. We will see that in tomorrow's class. Just bear with one more class. We will, you can understand. In tomorrow's class, we will see how we will convert the data into 2NF, 3NF. Once we got the output of 3NF, that is the complete data where we can start creating the tables. Okay. Is that okay? Is that fine?
Yeah, that's the way. Thank you.
All right. Okay, then let's meet in tomorrow's class.
Thank you, Divya.
You're welcome. Is that okay, guys? I'm asking you, everyone collectively, do you want me to continue this concept? Or if you really think it's not helpful, or if you are feeling as confusing, I'll skip it also. No problem.
There are few
No,
introductory
Divya,
questions,
continue.
Divya. So it's better we uh, continue this.
Okay, fine. Let's see. Tomorrow we'll finish 2NF and 3NF. No problem. Today I was late for by 5 minutes, but tomorrow I'll log in early. Let's finish 2NF and 3NF. Then we will finish this concept. And on the following day, let's start subqueries. Okay.
Okay.
All right then. Let's meet tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thank you.